Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of I Am That Bitch podcast. And I'm with my new friend. I've got lots of new friends. My next episodes, you're going to see, I got tons of new friends. This is Pam Dale, a Canadian that lives in Mexico, living the dream, obviously, my dream anyway. Welcome, girl.
Hey, I am so excited to be here. As soon as someone comes to me and says the name of the podcast is I Am That Bitch, I'm like, yeah, that's me.
I've got a lot. It concerns me that men reach out and go, I am that bitch. And I'm like, you
No,
shouldn't be that proud.
you're in the wrong room. Yeah,
You're in the wrong room. Yeah, unless you're flaming gay, then okay. But
that's great. Yeah.
coming from a straight guy, I don't think so. So tell everybody, introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do.
Well, I love helping women make money. It's been a passion of mine
Bam.
right? Like, fuck. So it's been a passion of mine for as long as I can remember, but it started with me on this journey to work through how is it that I could become a business owner and I needed money. It was very clear that that was a first level safety security need. And then it moves past that. And once I got through the safety security, I got to okay, we're making some really good money. We can move to Mexico. Then what does it flip into, right? What did you do next?
Yeah.
So it was, well, this mission of great things happen when women have money. And I got stuck in the client game. I couldn't understand how to get clients, work with clients where they didn't kill you, right? Or they didn't kill me in the scope creep I ended up working for $9.72 an hour. And that was really the work that I believe I was here to do, not only for myself, but for others.
Nice. I love that. We talked before us recording this, obviously, and I think we hit it off. And your story is quite moving.
Thank you.
And I actually want to work with you with Ladies Who Dine, my whole other woman empowerment group. I want to do an online thing with you, like I mentioned. But talk to me about okay, so how did you leave Canada? Or why did you leave Canada? Many of us want to leave Canada and move to another country. What made you make that decision, and was it easy?
Oh, it's such a story. So 2020, just before COVID, I decided that we needed to make a change. I was doing some things that I liked, but it wasn't perfect. So somebody in Edmonton, Canada has a high-end resort in the middle of Saskatchewan and said, you know what? I'd love to partner with you in the marketing side of it. She was a bit into MLM network marketing, and I liked that industry at that time. And over we went. COVID hit 2 weeks later.
Hmm.
And of course, the resort couldn't open. We couldn't do anything. So we ended up just doing whatever. And it turned out, believe it or not, I think it was a cult. Because it was, I swear it was, because we ended up living in their basement and just due to COVID and because we were, what are you going to do financially now? Right. And it was, when you're out from it, you can start to kind of see what was happening. But I was never meant to be controlled or told what to do or anything, right? So I
Okay,
just
hold on a second. Does this shit still exist?
I believe she's still doing what she's doing over there and taking money from people and never ever giving it back. And we had money and we gave her some, and then we had to finally, I called it escape, but we did. And the one afternoon, we just said, that's it, we're out. We took off and we stayed in Edmonton a couple more months until what am I doing in Edmonton? Right, of all places, Vancouver was at least better. And we had to move and we didn't want to go anywhere else in Canada. So it was like, okay, let's go to Mexico. And that's how we ended up there in the middle of COVID, trying to get passports, all of this stuff. But I was determined. And I said, no, we're going to go. And we've got to, and we just sold everything we owned. And we took 4 suitcases and we just took off.
Wow. So you've been down there for 5 years.
3.5 years.
Three and a half years. Oh no, 2020 you went to
COVID with them for, I don't know, almost a year and then 6 months or so by ourselves. And I'm not good with all of the math of the calendar, but about 3.5 years we've been here. So.
And you're loving it?
Absolutely. Now, the other side of it is people think it's all glam and it's all wonderful and it's all great. But I tell you, I do the same thing I do here that I did in Canada. I just got coconut trees. Right. So I got to do grocery.
Beautiful weather.
And beautiful weather. So it takes the same thing it takes no matter where you live. It took the same thing for me, no matter where I lived, to live my life.
Yeah.
Get out of my comfort zone, to go and explore. And it can be quite isolating here when I don't know the language and we didn't have friends. So we were starting over. And
Yeah.
in COVID, it was challenging, right? Although Mexico was much more open. And then, of
Yes.
course, just having to rebuild a business. So I was
Yeah.
working like a mother trucker, just trying to get our heads above ground.
Don't
So
be
it,
Canadian and say trucker.
right?
I'm joking.
True,
Yeah,
though.
no, everybody knows my stance. I can't wait to get out of this country,
Yes.
especially if we have another liberal government. I can't do it. And there's a lot of us talking like that. And a lot of us are entrepreneurs and we're like, we're done. We're done. We need to get out. And I kudos to you for making that decision and following through. Like that is takes a lot of balls to do that, Pam.
It
Like
does.
it's like
But
we
there's a
moved to
tip.
Maine. I moved to Maine for 4 years and that was great. But we knew going in that we had businesses, right? So you just packed your 4 suitcases and went. Like that's fucking huge.
It
But
is
that
when you're a certain age and people say, what do you do? Where do you live? You don't have a car. Like sometimes people tend to want to put us, rank us based on the stuff we have versus the freedom we have.
yeah.
Right. So for me, I measure it for myself on freedom. I don't measure anyone else. Right. But I do for
Yeah.
me, it's what level of freedom do I have?
Yeah.
Another
We don't
tip
have
that
much of that here.
I have a tip for y'all. Because we're Canadian,
Mm-hmm.
we can live anywhere and not pay tax in Canada.
Oh, yes. You told me this. So
So this
let's talk about this.
So I found this on TikTok and I was so excited because if I have an American LLC and I do not have a physical office in America or physical employees and I live anywhere else in the world as a Canadian, I do not pay tax anywhere. I don't pay Canadian tax, I don't pay American tax, and I don't pay a Mexican tax.
So, okay, that was different for us though, because when I moved to the States, um,
Because you live there. I don't live there. I have nothing there. I just have an LLC in Florida.
okay, I know that I had to pay tax in the States because I live there, but I
Yes.
also had to register my taxes in Canada.
You tell the CRA you're gone.
Well, I
But you
did.
get your passport. You get to keep your passport. It's one of the few countries in the world where you can keep your passport. Americans cannot. They must give up their passport.
Oh shoot, I forgot to put us on Do Not Disturb. Um, oh, I am. Why'd it beep? Anyway, I'll edit that out. Um, the because even my best friend's from Boston. She lives here. She also pays taxes in both countries.
Yes, but it's because you're not in a third country. You
So
need
she
to go
moved
to
to
Portugal. You need
Greece.
to go to Greece. You need to go and start an American LLC. I'll introduce you to my guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is why I want to do something with Ladies Who Dine. So you can educate us women to do this because that's speaking my language, girl, especially
Well,
now more than anything.
right. It's
Yeah.
very important to take control. Canadian taxes are so high. They tax the wealthy in Canada, not in America, right? We're a little bit different. So
Pam,
the
they're taxing fucking everybody here. Are you
right.
like,
Well, I
I
haven't been
just,
there in a few years, but it's brutal. You can't
girl,
get
do you know what
ahead.
our capital gains tax is right now?
Oh, I don't know if I want to know. It's
Well,
got to be bad.
66%.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So one thing, we didn't have properties and stuff. So when we left, we didn't pay any tax. We just skedaddled out of there.
Yeah,
So
I just and everyone's like, "Oh, look at Carney scrap the carbon tax." He couldn't scrap it. First of all, it's in law,
mm,
and our government hasn't been to work since the new year, and he can't just he just changed the price of it, but he wants now. The insiders are saying once if he gets reelected, he's gonna bring it back up and he's going to bring it to a higher amount and he's going to charge the industry. Well, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's going to trickle through and we're going to have to pay for more shit. I'm just done. I'm just done.
math
I
is
just
math.
can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I work too hard for our government to keep taxing us and everything is getting shittier. Shittier, like our healthcare is shittier. The amount of people that are here, there's no jobs, there's no healthcare, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's so shit. And talking to Americans, they're like, "Oh my god, they said Canada is like our savior. We want to leave America and come to Canada. I'm like, I wouldn't. I
No.
just fucking wouldn't. Anyway. So okay, let's go back to the cult thing for a second. That is fascinating.
Isn't it? 12 people. She was going to build this thing with 12 people. Everybody paid a certain amount. And then she ran these classes. And slowly she just started picking at me specifically for some reason, but probably because I was the closest to her, right? And living in her home. And it just slowly, it's really hard to explain how I bought into all the things that she said and what she was doing. And till I started getting emails from people outside of our 12 circle that said,
Mhm.
watch out for her, watch out for her. And
Wow.
yes, and I was like, what are you talking about? And it started to become clearer and clearer. And then it was very clear at the end, we were never going to make any money and we were never going to get our money back.
So if she's still, so people are still in this. You obviously, I want to know the name, but I'm not going to ask you to say it online. But if, like, is there any, like, I know in the States a cult isn't illegal, but if she's stealing money from people and with the intent of,
So brilliant. She would run it through properties, or she'd run it through network marketing products, or she'd run it through so it looked legit. She was so intelligent. It's so intelligent. Yeah,
interesting.
very interesting.
What made, like, what, so we talked about your personal life a little bit. Do you want to get into that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about that.
Um, because you said I kept attracting certain kind of people, but tell us a little bit about your childhood or the moment when you remembered something happening to you. I'm going to let you say it because it's your
Sure.
story.
So I think that story, once she understood what that story was as well, she understood how to use that with me and made it feel like I was loved when I actually wasn't. Because
Mm,
I wasn't always clear what that looked like, obviously. So,
yeah.
listeners, you may know where we're headed here. So, please, if you have any trauma or you're triggered in any way, please listen with care or click out for now.
People that are easily triggered don't listen to me, Pam. Let's
Okay,
just be
good, good, good.
honest.
Just checking. So I think it was about 10 years ago. And again, with regards to dates and times and calendars, I don't know. I just know that I was trying to build a business and I went to a business seminar. It was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it was the Saturday afternoon event, paired me with my husband. It's the first time my husband ever came to an event with me. And we're in this little quadrant. And there's two guys that I swear they were the ages of my children. So, of course, already we're in a very emotional situation and something starts happening to me that I cannot explain. It's almost like I was out of body and I could feel myself screaming to get out of the room.
Oh,
I remember backing against the wall and with my hands behind me, trying to claw out and kick my way out of the wall because I was still in. Like, you can't run out because that won't look good. Maybe kind of thinking, but I was just absolutely petrified of what was starting to happen, and I didn't have a clue what it was. And then they could start to see something was happening for me, and they kept bringing me back to the circle, and I would kind of try it and start, and then all of a sudden, I'm blacked out and gone.
so you passed out.
Passed out, screaming, hollering, crying, don't even know. And I've got images in my mind that are horrific.
Oh,
And I couldn't quite put together what was going on. So we went home, came back the next day. Of course, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, right? I come back the next day and somehow I felt a little better than I had in a while. But then I started the shakes and I started the nightmares and I started these flashes of pictures constantly, like you're looking at negatives from a camera. You know how you have
yep,
those old negatives and they were
yep.
just flash, 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 flash. And it was like, what is this? And I happened to have a friend in my life and I kind of explained to her I wasn't doing really well. This is what was happening. She says, girl, this happened to my girlfriend. You have to talk to her. She's also a therapist. She went on a date. She thought it was the best date in the world, but she kept picking gravel out of her head. And
What?
I said, what? But I kind of knew what she was talking about,
Yeah, I know exactly where this is going, but
right?
how, like, was she drugged, obviously?
No, we black it out. We
Pam.
block the memories out because they're so painful and we paint pretty pictures above it. So for
Wow.
me, I talked with her. She says, you've got classic signs of PTSD. I said, what is that? I
Yeah.
didn't even know. But the thing is that I kind of had a feeling something had always happened to me because I could relate to people that it happened to. I knew that level of whatever. I could spot them across the street. I go, I know you. I don't know how I know you, but I know you. So I always knew
Yeah.
it was something, right? So I decide, because the memories are so convoluted and I can't quite figure out what it is, I went to a hypnotherapy session. That's what the
Okay.
lady had done. I went to hypnotherapy session and I started to see pictures, and she says, like the layers and opening the doors and, stuff that they do.
Yeah.
And she said to me, what do you see? And I was above what was happening to me, right? And she says, see if you can see, or something like that. And I kind of was able to, I don't think it was me exactly, but I kind of flew in underneath, and the person had a pig mask on. So it took
Okay.
me, so I didn't know who it was, but from the back, it looked like my dad or my uncle because they both looked the same, right? The slick
Oh,
back black hair, like weird. It just looked like one of the two of them. So I'm like, Jesus. And the hypnotherapist says, you probably had these memories before. I go, yeah, I have. Now that I see them again, the little girl screaming in the closet. I remember I was about 5. And then I remember later my dad slapped my mom. And like, I remember some things, and I thought, well, maybe that's all kind of related, right? Like, what's going on? And then I get the courage to, I hadn't talked to my family in 20 years. I left home when I was 18. I'm out, pregnant at 17. Now it all makes sense.
yeah.
Promiscuity is one of the things that we do, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I could have some love and compassion for myself, eventually, but that took a bit longer. So I called my brother, like, hey, I think something happened. He says, what? Didn't you know? I'm like, you fucker. He says, your uncle did this and this, and then he kind of collapsed a little bit too and said, oh my God, it might be dad. And I go, yeah, I know, blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
And then I get the courage to call my mother. I haven't talked to my mother in years, decades, really, because she's very unhealthy. So
okay.
I don't know where my courage comes from, Val. Sometimes I just don't know, but I'm sitting down, pick up the phone, and I call my mom. And I go, hey, it's me. She recognizes my voice. And I go, hey, I think something happened to me when I was a kid. She said, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I pause. And then a few minutes later, it felt like forever, I said it
Mhm.
again, like, oh, I was just wondering, like, I kind of had some things happen for me. I feel like something happened to me. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. And then the voice in my head said, ask one more question, because I
Yeah.
didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
It said, ask one more question. And I remember it as clear as day. It came across my mind, and it said, did you ever leave me alone? And my mother said, there were lots of good times too, and hung up on me.
So she knew.
She knew. From that moment, I knew she knew. And she left us in that family
Oh,
until they divorced when I was 18.
Pam, I'm so sorry you went through that. Oh my God. But that your
Imagine.
mom fucking knew and didn't do
How
anything
many moms know
and don't do anything.
and don't do anything?
Why do you
So
think they
many.
do that? Is it because they're looking for acceptance and love too?
It's got to have something to do with that. The reason I
Wow.
said at the top of this, great things happen when women have money. My parents were married November 15th, 1959, and my mother was a nurse. And immediately she left her job, as they do, and started to try to have children. I wasn't born till 66. My father had an affair. There was another child that I again found out about when I was about 20 something. She called me out of the blue. Nobody talked about it. Later, I remember the conversations that I'd heard my parents fighting, right? But
Wow.
all of a sudden, all of this was just a nightmare for my mom. Alcoholism, abuse, neglect. So in 1975 and 80, where do you go as a woman who didn't have a job? So I know she started to clean the local hotel. We lived in the middle of nowhere, Saskatchewan, Canada, with 1,200 people. Where's she going to go?
Yeah.
She didn't have the finances. She didn't,
There's no
after years of that,
resources.
no resources,
Yeah.
no help, no friends, no. So I can see how it kind of was. But honestly, I could, on a really unhealthy level, in some capacity, kind of understand one side, the male side, but I had a harder time understanding why my mother didn't pull me out. and why she did that to me and why that
Well,
was
I think you
happening.
just explained it. You
Well,
know,
she
no
abused me
money,
on
no
top of it.
resources.
She abused me on top of it.
Oh,
So
so
it was,
you know, I know that there's a lot of instances where the mother gets jealous because you're
I
probably
think it
getting
was
the
part of it.
attention.
And then when I became pregnant, she became a different woman.
In what way?
Totally like an amazing, incredible mother.
Now, you didn't get pregnant through this situation. You got pregnant with
We
someone
don't know
else's.
the answer to that question.
Oh my God, Pam. This is like, I just got chills all over my body. Oh my God. Oh, sorry.
It's
Wow.
a lot to deal with, isn't it?
This,
And the laughter's okay. I'm
I'm
okay.
laughing out of nervousness.
I knew that because it is. It's quite a bit to deal with, isn't it? To be
Well,
put in as a person, as a human being, as a child, as a woman, as
but you're a child, it's even 17. You're just a teenager.
I was
Like,
just a kid, a
what do
really
you
messed up kid.
know?
I knew nothing.
So fast forward to today. You're obviously healthy, happy. How do you get to that point? Realizing, so, okay, actually, hold on. Let's go back. At what age did you realize these, like, or start getting these pictures or memories?
47,
And you're what now?
58.
Okay, so that's the 10 years. So in the last 10 years, what work have you done to get to a point where you can physically like talk about it
Yes.
and maybe have a chuckle about it here and there?
Yeah.
How did you get to that point?
Well, first I was angry as fuck.
Yeah,
You
no
can
shit.
imagine. The biggest thing I was angry about was that I wasn't told because I'd wanted to do something with my life. I'd ended up in alcoholic situations and abusers and all of these things. And I was judging myself so much for it because I think that I'm smarter than that. But somehow I kept repeating a fucking pattern and I couldn't get out of the pattern. I
You
had
didn't
looked,
know why.
I had no idea why. So I am the best self-help person. And I even took 4 coaching certifications because I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Why can't I do the things that I say I want to do? Why can I not have the life that I see others having? What's wrong with me? So I was
Wow.
angry that I felt like I'd wasted 47 years of my life. So I was mad. And then the moment that I decided, okay, that's enough. It's taken 47 years of my life. I do not want it to have one more day.
Yeah,
Now it has, and it probably still will have. I don't know
sure.
at the moment. Pardon me.
Yeah, you're okay.
Because I'm not there yet where it's
Hmm.
perfect. I don't know. I just know that this is part of me I carry, just like if I'd lost an arm or something. I don't know, right? I honestly don't know. But I do know that I was on the hunt for the way for me.
Hmm.
I wanted to know what it is I'm here to do because that didn't make sense on a human level. If there is a God, that did not make sense. It feels cruel. It felt all sorts of things to happen to a 5-year-old, right? And then not be given anything over here on the other side, like day and night and left and right and up and down. And there's a balance to the universe. So
Yeah.
where was the balance for me? And I was on a hunt for it. And I've spent $250,000 on everything you can imagine to get through this
Yeah.
so I can get to a place where I like me, I love me, and I'm still on that journey of self-worth, growing my business to the next level. It's a self-worth issue again. It's always that next level. And people deal with that whether or not they've dealt with this type of trauma or any trauma. It's very similar. It doesn't matter what level of trauma it is. What I like to do and tell through my story is that we have a choice. I have a
Hmm.
choice whether or not to stay in that and be angry at that or, oh my God, what is that?
Yeah.
But it's gone, it's done. And I don't even trust all the memories because the
Oh.
way that the brain works, when you repeat them over and over and over again, they get tweaked a little bit more each time to the way
Mm.
that I want to believe they happened. So I'm
Interesting.
careful not even to ask any brain person out there, they'll tell you that. Do not relive that. And I'm grateful I don't have all of the memories. they're bits and pieces, but they're more like scars on my soul is what it felt like. Like I could feel them. I didn't
Yeah.
need the pictures. I didn't need all of that validation from everyone else. I'd already known it. Now I know it's up to me. What am I going to do? And I did everything and still do everything possible. And one of the biggest things I do is we started this show with great things happen when women have money,
Yeah.
because what if my mother had money?
What
I
if?
don't know the answer to that. And I'm not, in la la land. She may
Hmm.
have chosen to stay. We don't know. But what if I could help one more woman, including myself, never be in a situation where I was not financially able to get myself out of a situation, or my children or anyone else for that matter, simply from money? Because money is everywhere. White men have it, right? Why can't we, kind of
Yeah.
idea? So let's go put some of it back where it belongs.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like even my mother-in-law was in a situation with my father-in-law. They just never got along, but she was dependent on him. And then she started a business in 1986 and started making her own money. And she's like, "You could leave now because I don't need you. I have my own money." And he, of course, never left. They both died, still married to one another. But it like no situation like what you went through. It was just an unhealthy relationship. But yeah, I get it. I've always been the provider for my family. We grew up very poor, and my dad, parents, big parents, um, worked hard, had a restaurant, didn't make a lot of money, and then it just wasn't enough all the time. And then my dad got diagnosed with ALS, and I had to quit high school. That's why I'm a high school dropout. Quit high school, got 3 jobs, and started working. And I would come home and just hand over the paychecks
Hmm.
over to my parents to try to keep the house, until one day I just said to my dad, "We can't do this anymore." One brother was in jail, the other one was in school, and we wanted him to finish. And they had gotten into a car accident, so even my mom wasn't working. So it was really my criminal brother and myself making money and handing it over to my dad. And I said, "We can't do this anymore. We're going to have to go bankrupt." And right then and there, I said, "Never am I ever going to go through this again." I had to walk into the welfare office because we
Hmm.
were broke. We had no food. My mom had no money to get on the train to go to work. My car was being repossessed. Like everything was going wrong. And I walked into the welfare office and I was embarrassed. I wore a hat, and she's like, "This is what it's for. This is why you pay taxes." And I said, "I literally just need to go buy groceries. If you can give me money to do that, I promise you I will have 2 jobs by the end of the month." She goes, "I'm not like it, like this is what it's for." And she's trying to calm me down. I said, "You need to get me out of this office. I'm actually embarrassed."
Hmm.
So I run out. I go, I get money. She gave me money instantly. At some point, I guess they could do that. And I went to the grocery store, bought us groceries, and not nice groceries. It's like, the vegetables in the back that are wrapped that are almost near expiry. The stickers on the meat, 30% off because it's fucking almost expired. And I swore to myself, this is never going to happen to me again, ever, ever. And I've provided for my family. So my dad passed away. My brother went in and out of jail. My eldest brother that was in school for being a chef, he eventually passed away. So with John in jail, it was just me and my mom. And there was times where I thought, I can't pay this mortgage. And I did what I had to do. You know what I mean? But I made sure I had my own money and that I wasn't dependent on
Hmm.
anybody. And then when I got married, it was a collaboration really between my husband and I. And it just worked out. I was lucky, you know? But
We all have these times in our lives when we can make decisions.
yeah.
And we see them. We talk to other women. We know that they've made a decision to go the other way, to adopt the story as real, and all the lies that we told ourselves about it, and continue down the other path. We always have a choice. You had a choice. I had a choice. And the women listening to this have a choice. One of
Mhm.
the things that's the most challenging, though, is that I have to take 100% radical responsibility for myself. And some of us don't want that. So that's why we end up down the other victim road. But
Mhm.
it's not pretty down there. It doesn't get better down there. That road heads you right to the ditch.
Yeah.
Honestly, every single time. It is not the easy road that you think it is. It is not. And the one that where you have the 100%, I call it radical responsibility. Everything is my responsibility. Somebody cuts me off or whatever. Like, I don't even have time for traffic. Never mind. I'm up to something. I got shit going on. I'm doing things, right?
Yeah.
It's up to me. So that's where I have power. We say we
Yeah.
want to be powerful. We are powerful. We're
Yeah.
girl bosses. We're all this bullshit, but we're actually not. We're still victims to the same thing that we keep running whatever through, right?
Yeah. It's up to us to change
It
it.
is.
Right.
We have to, because what the hell did we end up on this earth for? It can't be that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I talk about being authentic and stuff, all the time. I have that woman empowerment group and I really do. I'm 52 years old and I love who I am. And all my
Mm,
experiences have made me who I am today.
yeah.
And I tell women that, and I hosted this panel last week for Women's Day or 2 weeks ago. And like we're so afraid of cancel culture. We're so afraid of the other person's opinion. We're so afraid that when we post something online, that it's not the perfect looking post. You don't look perfect. And I'll post anything. My hair will be shit. I won't put makeup on. And, I had a lady come up to me at another event and she's like, I love that you just go on naturally. And I'm like, she's like, I can't do that. I'm a personal trainer. I have to look good all the time. And I said, no, you don't. You're human. We know you don't look perfect all the time. So I think we do this to ourselves all the time, but women to each other. And we're just,
Oh, God.
it's just nasty. Like, let's support each other. Let's uplift each other and not cut each other down for us to feel better,
We're still in the pick me stage, which is built
I'm
by the
not.
right, built by the patriarchy, but a lot of women are still in the pick me stage. So what they're doing is they're wanting to still be chosen. So financial
Yeah.
empowerment means we don't need to be chosen, we choose ourselves. And then if we want a partner, fantastic, but we were programmed that we had to be the best to be chosen by the best, so we had a great life. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to be the one that was with the drunk or the one that was with the guy that just did the garbage route, right? We
Yeah.
wanted, so a lot of us unfortunately are still in that, and it's toxic, it's terrible, but we don't believe that we can make money. We don't want to take 100% responsibility for it. So I don't know about you, but the divorce rate is 50 some percent.
Yeah.
And the percentage that aren't divorced, how many are even happy? Maybe two. Like, really, it's, we're
I'm
looking.
one. I'm
Yes,
one.
me too, but that
Yeah.
took some fucking work, right? But a lot of us are still buying into this idea of the marriage is the idea. This is where we're going. This is, and it doesn't work for us anymore. So we're,
I love being married, Pam. Like
oh,
I'm still,
absolutely.
yeah, I'm on the, I think I'm a little bit opposite of that. Like, I love being married. I love the gender roles. I love my husband as an alpha male.
Mm,
Like, I look at girls and they're like, I have all these requirements for people. And I'm like, well, are you such a catch that you want all these requirements and stuff? How about working together with your man and building that
working
life that you
together.
want?
Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't have a problem marrying a garbage guy. Fuck, especially here in Canada, they get paid pretty good money. But as long as the other person's motivated to do something, you can make anything happen.
oh,
Right.
for sure. I'm very happily married as well.
Yeah.
And, but it's taken some time to work through. I have my own wants, needs, desires, dreams. I'm not going to emotionally take care of you. I'm not going to, we don't do gender roles. We do who's best at what and where's,
Yeah.
right, who's, you've got time, I don't have time. It doesn't matter what the
And
tasks
we
are.
do that too. When I
Yeah,
say gender roles, though, it's like, he's the strong one of the two, right? Be the man, like lift things, do this, what, like
for sure.
in the sense, and I love cooking. That's my love language.
Mm,
If you come here, all I want to do is cook for you and feed you. It's my love language. And then I'll just sit back and watch you eat because it brings me complete joy
right. I
that
don't know
you're
if that's
enjoying
a
what it.
gender role or if that's just who you are. And that's so exciting that
Well, I think this new generation will call it a gender role, and then I'm putting women back fucking 50 years.
no, you're working in your
I
passion.
don't give a
That's
fuck.
what we want to be sure that
Listen, I
we're
love my
always.
man and
Yeah.
I fucking love. You ever watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding? And I've mentioned this on
Yes.
the podcast before where she goes, Tula's like, "Oh, dad is the head of the family." And the mom goes, "He may be the head of the family, but I'm the neck."
Yeah.
And when we women actually realize that, their marriage could be so much better. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
anyway. I do little things like that, and I like the traditional stuff. You know, like people find it surprising about me because I'm so unfiltered and unapologetic. But when it comes to my marriage, I like being traditional. Just works for us.
And that's the thing. What is it that works for us?
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be what it always has been, or maybe what your life is or my life isn't what's for you. That's my goal and
yeah.
dream for every woman, is just to do it so it
Just
works for
figure it
you.
out. Figure
Just
it
do it.
out.
Yeah,
And be
absolutely.
authentic about it. Like, don't be fucking fake.
No,
Think you're going to
just
be like
be real.
Susie Homemaker and everything's perfect. Your kids are perfect and they do nothing wrong.
But
Bullshit. We
you
all know
hate
that's a
it.
lie.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
great if you love it, but if you hate it, you hate it.
true.
Right?
True.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the that's the key, is to
Well,
build a life.
yeah, you've really, you moved me today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're definitely going to keep in touch for sure. Those of you that want to follow Pam, where do they find you?
Theclientcoach.com on the
Any
interwebs. Yeah.
on everything. That's everything on Instagram, Facebook, everything.
You'll find me all around. Yeah. But the
You
client coach,
slut, you're everywhere.
yeah, everywhere. The clientcoach.com, and then go there, and then you'll see all the socials if you want to hang out there or jump on and I've got a book, grab a freebie or two, or jump on the client letter, which is a
Show
letter
them
I
the
write.
book. Do you have
Oh
the
yeah,
book in
by
front
the
of
way,
you
I do. So it's called Cracking the Client Code. It's
so they
my
can see it?
first book that is all about unlocking the secrets to building and scaling a thriving online business. And this is the work that I went through. I couldn't get a client, to now I don't have a problem with clients.
Nice.
So it's all a self-worth journey, if
I
we
love that.
really want to
Well,
admit
this is
that.
why I want to do an online thing with you, with my ladies who dine. They're all business women, lots of coaches, and I think some are struggling to get clients. And I
Sure.
think, but I think people that have gone through shit, like you've gone through shit, I think you're more of a real, um, like a real person, right? So when you're coaching people, like you've been through the shit, you know how to get out of the shit, and you're living
I
it.
know what it looks like, what it smells like. So you can't hoodwink me,
Well,
right?
and
Like,
that's the thing, but you can't hoodwink other people. Like, there's people like, let me coach you. And they've been through nothing. They've lived a very privileged life and they don't know tough times. So, how are you going to coach me through that? Right? You've been there.
yeah.
You've done that. You've done the work. And that's where I respect you for that. And I give you kudos.
Thank you.
And I know my women from Ladies Who Dine would appreciate hearing that.
It's
You
very
know,
powerful. I was
it's
at
extremely
an
powerful.
event yesterday here in Mazatlan. Someone forwarded me something about there's a home for abused girls, and there was a garage sale. It's not common in Mexico to have a garage sale. So I was like, oh, let's go donate a whole bunch of clothes. So I took a whole bunch of clothes.
Nice.
I went down and met the lady. And I was very clear with her. I said, I can help. I said, because I have been through this and I understand this. I said, I'm the last thing, and this is what happens when you tell people this story, is they're like, oh. And I'm like, you know what you just did?
Hmm.
You took me out at the knees. If
Oh,
you think this is an
by by
story,
doing, oh, that took you out at the knees.
it will, because you're telling me that that is a horrible thing.
But it was.
But it's actually, what if it wasn't? So this is the most beautiful piece of this. What if it wasn't? So I was willing to start asking that question. What if it wasn't? What if this is something bigger? What if this is something else? What if this is meant to be? What is it that I could do with this? This is a different way to look at it. I could have sat, but that doesn't help me. I'm already the fuck there.
You know what? It's okay when you put it in that perspective because I talk about that all the time. You're right. And
It doesn't help me. That doesn't help me. I'm already living there. I already believe that. I already
yeah,
want to know what the fuck this means and everything. And you're telling me it already means that I'm something. I don't know what that sound you're making means, but what I need you to tell me when I tell somebody that my story, where they come to me and tell me their story, I go, you fucking lucky bitch.
oof.
Because they
That's ah
It's a different way to look at it, isn't it? But we
well,
always have perspective. We always can change and look at it. But you know what? It's already done.
fuck
What could
Pam.
I don't want to be, oh, you're stronger because of it. I don't fucking need that. I know I am, but that's a shitty way to do that. But please, what if I became someone different as a result?
Cause of
And
it.
I have become someone. We all become someone. You've become someone. Someone else has become someone. What if that's not the worst thing that could happen to me? I could have been killed. There's a lot that could
I
have
was just
been
gonna say you
worse.
could have died.
I could have died. There are
Yeah,
times
but
I
you
thought that
didn't,
was a
and you're
better
here
option.
to tell the story, right? So
Well, I'm just here to do and be me.
yeah, you know what? Thank you for that. Because I talk about that all the time. Like people, with everything that I've gone through, I said I'm grateful for it. I'm absolutely grateful for
Me
everything that I've
too.
gone through. I'm grateful for my brother being a criminal, grateful for almost being homeless, grateful for everything because it made me who I am today. And I really
You've got
like
a
who
skill set that
yes.
you couldn't even guess that how you could have created it. So
Yeah.
for me, the mother instinct that my mother didn't have, oh, I've got it.
Yeah.
It's I'll fucking kill you. It's
Amen,
that
sister.
motherly fucking thing that we get. My mother's was missing. Mine is don't even try.
Someone's going to listen to this today and this is you're very powerful and I hope it resonates and I know it's going to I'm not going to say it, I hope this will resonate with someone and look at their situation and go, you know what? Yeah, okay, it happened to me. Thank you. Now,
Some people
fucking,
it'll
it's time.
some people it'll piss them off
Oh,
because
100%.
they'll want to stay in it and that's okay. But
Yeah,
don't have goals and dreams and be a victim of it.
yeah.
Just wander off by yourself and do whatever it is you want to do, but don't come back with the victim. I'm a victim. I can't because I'm a victim. No, that doesn't work. You've got to take it all or you've got to let it all go. You can't sit in the middle of it and use it as an excuse to not be who you really are. So
Amen.
that's the lesson.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's I think I was with my friend. She was going through a divorce, and well, she wasn't divorcing him yet. He kept cheating on her, and she kept choosing to forgive him, but keep throwing it in his face. And I said, "You're choosing forgiveness, so that means you don't bring it up again and keep throwing it in his face."
That's
So
not
stop playing the
forgiveness.
victim here because now you're choosing to be in this situation. You're choosing to be the victim.
You want him to change his behavior so you don't have to.
Right. So, and I said that to her. Well, after I said that, we're no longer friends, but because she didn't hear what she wanted to hear from me. And I'm not going to validate stupid behavior. It's just not going to happen. So I am grateful for that today. Wow. Wow.
You'll get the
You
same from me
say that
because
again?
you'll get the same from me.
Yeah.
I care so much about you that I don't care. I care so much about you that I don't care what you think of me.
Yeah.
I can handle it. That's another thing that's come from what's happened to me. Fuck, I can handle you not liking me.
Wow.
But I'm going to say, as a woman, I'm going to look you in the eyes, but I'm not going to lie to you.
That's crazy, Pam. That's awesome, actually. And I thank you for that. And thank you for sharing
Thank
because
you.
that's going to resonate with somebody and change someone's life today.
We all have that person inside that wants to say just a little bit more than we're saying.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Right, right, right. Okay. You and
I
me, maybe not.
I I just say it and sometimes I think what fucking just came out of my mouth, right? Like I don't have that. I don't have that filter where I don't not say anything. It just sometimes just the words fall out of my mouth naturally.
I'm a little bit softer, maybe.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Today you weren't softer, girl. You fucking said the shit. You said it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on, my friend. We're definitely going to be in touch again for sure. And this is not the last time that you'll see Pam and I together, everybody. I'm definitely going to be working with her in the future for sure. You're extremely powerful, and I love that girl. I absolutely loved it. Tell them once again what your website is.
Theclientcoach.com.
Theclientcoach.com. Follow her, reach out to her. If you like this, please like it, write a comment, ask any questions, subscribe. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.
And reach out to
So,
me personally in a DM if you don't want to comment.
oh,
You
of
can.
course. Yeah, DM us anyway. And if there's something that you wanted to ask me through to get to her, I can do it too. If you want it completely anonymous, I got you. We got you
We got you.
covered.
Thank you for the
Thanks for coming
platform.
out, Pam.
Thank you for the space to tell the story.
I loved it. Thanks,
Thank
girl.
you.